It has begun. The Bernie faction versus establishment Democrats. Now, this is a small warning shot that I believe the establishment is firing in a sense here, okay? So I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, and I marked it down on the calendar when I told the production team, which was 5 weeks ago, that I got it. I know who the establishment is gonna support, and that's Kamala Harris. And in that 5 weeks, all we've gotten is more and more evidence of that. In fact, let me go to this story from Mike.com, and boy, does it buttress exactly what I've been telling you guys. Freshman Senator Kamala Harris has recently become the subject of much speculation about a potential 2020 presidential run. Okay, so listen to the next sentence, so this is very important. Several major news outlets have run feature-length profiles of Harris, and top Democratic donors are starting to coalesce around her as their preferred candidate to take on President Donald Trump. First of all, just a little told you. And I did not know that the donors were coalescing around her when I said that they're gonna pick Kamala Harris. Why are they gonna pick her? Here are the 3 reasons why, and you'll see immediately that this is the strategy they have already begun. She's going to be very hard to attack. So when how would progressives campaign against an establishment candidate? Well, you would go to their record, right? And you would campaign on the issues. That's why Bernie Sanders was so popular, because he's been campaigning on those same issues for the last 40 years. But when you go to campaign against any of these candidates, whether it's Booker or who knows, you name it, Al Franken or Kirsten Gillibrand, it doesn't matter. They're going to counterattack. Now, how are they going to counterattack? Well, in the case of Kamala Harris, they're gonna get to say she's black and she's a woman, so if you attack her, you are by definition racist and sexist. You think that's not coming? First of all, it's already arrived, as predicted. And this is just the very, very tip of a giant iceberg to come. And the third thing is she doesn't have much of a record. She's barely been in office. So they're right now out there going, oh, she's been fighting Trump. Wow, that is the lowest bar there is, right? And I want to be really clear about this. I don't have a position on Kamala Harris yet because I don't know her well enough. She was Attorney General in California. She did one great thing. She fought Obama on a negotiation they were doing with the banks, and her along with Eric Schneiderman in New York got the administration to be tougher on the banks and get more from the banks in a settlement that they did. Now, I don't think they should have done a settlement. I think they should have pursued both civil and criminal charges against the banks and their executives. But overall, that's a big win, and I was very happy about that. So credit where credit is due. She also could have easily prosecuted One West, which was Steve Mnuchin's bank. He's now, of course, the Treasury Secretary. She did not pursue those charges, and Steve Mnuchin later gave her campaign donations for her 2016 run. That was not so good. But look, you gotta, on just 2 issues, you can't judge someone. And unfortunately in the Senate, she just got there. There's really almost nothing you can judge her based on there. So we gotta get into the issues. So I'm not prejudging Senator Harris at all, okay? But I do know that the donors are headed in that direction. There's probably a good reason why. They might know something we don't know. And the mainstream media loves her. Of course, okay. Anybody but Bernie. That is definitely part of what they're thinking here. So now, in this case, Andrew Joyce, who wrote this article, went and got a bunch of quotes from progressives, including, by the way, our own Nomiki Konst, a TYT reporter. But Roseanne DeMoro had a good quote. She's the executive director of National Nurses United. They were a very strong union that supported Bernie Sanders, one of the few. They're very progressive, and they fight with Justice Democrats and Our Revolution on really important issues like Medicare for All. So Roseanne DeMoro said about Kamala Harris, she's one of the people the Democratic Party is putting up in terms of where the progressives live. I don't think there's anything there. So I think what DeMoro is saying there is, like, I get it. There's a bunch of senators that the mainstream media likes and the donors like, but there's no reason yet to be excited about Senator Harris. So there's the one thing that I told you that she did as Attorney General, but what are her proposals? Has she put forward legislation? Has she actively fought for it? What has she done, right? So I think that's a very fair comment from DeMauro. Well, then Mike Policy goes over to Mike.com, goes to Essence Magazine. They find Michael Arsenault, who says, in response to DeMauro, when it comes to where progressives live, which ones are she referring to? The white ones? Boom, immediately it got racial. First of all, that's not remotely true. Over 80% of African Americans support Bernie Sanders. He does better among African Americans than almost any other demographic, and he does great in all the demographics. So you're just making that up. And the establishment criticizes Bernie Sanders as too liberal. They say it's not practical. You can't get those things done. Oh, free college, Medicare for all. You can't get those things done. You're too liberal, you're too progressive. Then at the same time, they turn around a guy who's the most liberal senator. I don't know that, you might be racist. Look, this is not, look, it's gonna get much worse than this. This is, like I said, it's just a warning shot. But immediately, when you say, hey, has Kamala Harris accomplished as much or fought for as long and as strong progressive positions as Bernie Sanders says, oh yeah, who's saying that, white people? This is gonna get super ugly. And I'm noting for the record here, we didn't start this. The minute that anyone said, hey, I'm just wondering, what has Senator Harris done? Oh, okay, I guess it's a white-black thing now. No, it was never a white-black thing until you brought it up. Okay, you remember that picture of Bernie Sanders chained to an African-American woman during the civil rights era, where he said, if you're going to arrest her, I'm coming with her, you're gonna have to arrest me too. They question his racial record. Are you insane? You only do that if you want to be disingenuous. And these right-wingers, they drive me crazy with what they say is identity politics on the left. In reality, we're not playing any identity politics. What we're saying is, we think black people should have the same rights as white people. That shouldn't be a controversial position. We think women should have the same rights as men. Not controversial. Gay people should have the same rights as straight people. I don't think that's remotely controversial. That isn't identity politics. When you say they should have, white people or straight people or men should have more rights, like straight people should get to marry with all the rights and gay people should not get to marry or not have the same rights, you're playing identity politics. But when the establishment Democrats come in and say, nope, you have to support someone, either Booker or Harris because they're black, or Gillibrand or Harris because they're women, and based on what? Not on policy, but just on who they are, that actually is identity politics. It's not being played by progressives. Progressives don't like that stuff at all. They want to fight for equality. These people aren't real progressives. The establishment is just asking, where's the money, where's the money, where's the money? And how do I get it, and how low and how dirty do I have to go to get it? Okay, by the way, these Bernie bros that they quoted. Now, to be fair, again, Andrew Joyce in this article didn't say Bernie bro, so I'm not putting it on him, but that is a comment that has been used many times. Joyce called it Bernie land. Just want to see the three people he quoted in Bernie land. That'd be Nomiki Konst, Roseanne DeMauro, and Winnie Wong. Three women, so I'm sure the Bernie bro attack is coming next. So we're so far out from 2020, and it's already begun. So you think there's gonna be party unity? No, they're never gonna unify behind the most popular politician in the country. If all they cared about was winning, it would be a no-brainer. But they're not gonna do that because they're more worried about the money. And they never fight hard against Republicans, but they will fight us tooth and nail. I'm telling you right now, this is just the beginning, and it's gonna get super ugly. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. tytnetwork.com/join.